Hi, I'm Carl Azuz for CNN 10. On Friday night, the United States, the United Kingdom, and France worked together to launch military strikes on the Middle Eastern country of Syria. Today's show starts with an explanation of what happened and how people have reacted to it in Syria and beyond. The airstrikes were carried out from Allied ships, fighter jets, and bombers. They were in response to an apparent chemical weapons attack earlier this month. It killed dozens of people in the rebel-held Syrian town of Douma. Britain, France, and the U.S. blamed the Syrian government for the attacks. Syria and its ally Russia denied it. The missiles launched on Friday were aimed at three specific sites: a scientific research center in the Syrian capital of Damascus and two chemical weapons facilities near the western Syrian city of Homs. The U.S. military called the sites the heart of the Syrian chemical weapons program.
The purpose of our actions tonight is to establish a strong deterrent against the production, spread, and use of chemical weapons.
And President Trump and the U.S. military say Friday's mission was accomplished. Russia says the strikes were against international law and that they'll upset the, quote, political settlement in the crisis in Syria. Iran, another ally of Syria, called the strikes a major crime. Israel, an ally of the U.S., said it supported the airstrikes and that they enforced U.S. policy not to allow chemical weapons attacks. And the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations says America remains locked and loaded to strike if more chemical attacks are carried out. There's been some argument over how effective the strikes were. The Syrian government says some of the targeted sites weren't damaged at all. Satellite images provided by the U.S. military showed the opposite. The Pentagon says every target was hit successfully. Russia, an ally of Syria, says most of the missiles fired were intercepted by Syrian defense systems.
The Syrian regime very clear to keep pumping out the same propaganda message of effectively resisting any moves against it. Certainly during a meeting with Russian lawmakers, Bashar al-Assad suggested that in fact it was Soviet-era legacy, almost Russian-supplied anti-aircraft systems that defeated over 100 state-of-the-art precision missiles launched by the US, UK and France. Obviously, that may be hard to believe. Frankly, it was hard to believe that 70 of the 100 or so, as Russia claimed, were taken out by anti-aircraft missiles on the way. The Pentagon has said none of their missiles were intercepted and, in fact, shown before and after satellite imagery, easy to corroborate on a commercial basis, showing the damage done to the three select facilities they chose to target. But still, regardless of the truth of the matter here, this is about Damascus saying they've really picked themselves up, dusted themselves down, and life is carrying on as normal. Another message Bashar al-Assad gave to those Russian lawmakers was he'll be needing $14 billion to rebuild the country, the parts of the country that have been destroyed by the Syrian civil war. Much of the destruction of which his military and backers have been behind. So Damascus really, I think, perhaps thinking they've dodged a bit of a blow here. It's unclear whether they've actually taken on board the message that the use of chemical weapons will lead to a Western response like this. It was a comparatively small amount of their infrastructure that was indeed targeted, but I'm sure in Moscow and Tehran they're asking themselves whether or not the last week, frankly, was worth it, and whether they're pressuring Bashar al-Assad to again not use weapons of this sort.
10-second trivia. Where would you find Grimaldi, Copernicus, and the Sea of Clouds? The Sistine Chapel, the Circuit de Monaco, the Orion Nebula, or the Moon? These are all features of the Moon, the Earth's natural satellite. And that is our next stop today on CNN 10, to the Moon. Now this here is what that satellite looks like in 4K, or ultra high definition resolution. It comes to us courtesy of a NASA mission launched in 2009 called the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter mission. Its cost is an estimated $583 million. Its goal is to make detailed maps of the moon. So this is a virtual tour. If you'll kindly return your tray tables to their full upright position and direct your attention through the window, you'll see what the terrain looks like on the moon. And you'll get a pleasant glimpse of the Oriental Basin, which stretches about 580 miles wide. Our next point of interest is the moon's south pole, which is believed to be significantly colder than the Earth's south pole. In the years since this mission was launched, it's sent back some highly detailed views and led to what scientists call some groundbreaking discoveries. For instance, they believe the coldest spot in our solar system isn't on the planetoid, formerly known as the planet Pluto, but instead on the moon. where temperatures can plunge to negative 415 degrees Fahrenheit. So if humans set foot on the moon again, they won't be able to grill out. Okay, back on Earth, a CNN hero is helping others like her do something that their doctors never thought would be possible. She's helping them walk again. Amanda Boxtel says a bionic exoskeleton suit can cost $90,000. But the nonprofit company she started has brought more than 60 people in her community the ability to walk without the cost of the suit.
When I dream, I fly, and I have freedom. I can't get enough. And if I wake from those flying, magical places, it's always just this harsh reality of, oh, you're paralyzed. 26 years ago, I went out skiing, and I remember I somersaulted. I landed on my back, and I knew in that instant that I was paralyzed. I was so young. I feel like the mountain had robbed me of the use of my legs, but I was determined to show that I wasn't gonna give up so easily. I had imagined myself being encased in an outer shell and walking upright. Yeah, let's do it. And then I received the phone call that changed my life. I was invited to test a prototype exoskeleton. I stood up and I walked for the first time in 18 years, and it was as if all of my dreams were burgeoning to life in one upright, powerful moment.
Right now, I have no pain. The exoskeleton takes away my pain.
This type of technology, it's not easily accessible, it's not affordable, and I thought we could get a whole community up and walking with this unit. Why not? Bridging Bionics literally bridges mobility with bionic technology. We are truly giving the gift of mobility for free or next to nothing to help our community get upright and walking again.
Push back, yes.
We have physical therapists that work one-on-one with our clients. It's a customized program geared to each neurological condition.
You don't know how bad my legs needed this.
Before working out with Bridging Bionics, making a step by myself wasn't a possibility. But then after, my muscles started working together in ways that they weren't before, to the point where I set my goal to walk across the stage for my graduation. Felt good to gain stuff back and be able to say, this is my moment.
I'll race you to the door.
This is the power of technology that everybody should have access to.
That's all you right there. Nice. Good job.
Life is not over when someone sustains a traumatic injury. Life goes on. It's just a little different, and that's okay.
For 10 out of 10, some of the older turtles may have a look at this and think this kid's a punk. But why judge the Mary River turtle just because he has green hair and spikes on his chin? He likes water and algae just like the rest of them. In fact, it's algae that builds up on the heads of these reptiles to give them that mohawk. Unfortunately, they're endangered. Biologists say an exotic pet craze in the 1960s and 70s greatly reduced their numbers. You can't hear the turtles moaning about it, but the clash between them and people had a rancid effect, creating more than a minor threat to them. But they're getting more attention now thanks to the social distortion caused by their endangered classification, giving their descendants a better chance. I'm Azuz for CNN 10.